Ladies and gentlemen, I told you, just like when Madam Secretary is going to be the nominee, and I will have made the biggest political call of all time, just like when I said in 2015 that Clinton couldn't defeat Trump, and NPR quoted me, the link is below in the description, and also in the pinned comment. I told you that they are shivering and petrified and horrified, frightened, scared. Washington Post, quote, I do not want to take Kanye West seriously, but I know that we have to. This is the Washington Post today. Why? This is July 19th, 2020. I told you that he is going to be an enormous factor. Kanye is Putin 2.0. Democrats are now going to have to try to denigrate, demean, insult, mock. And who knows, Democrats are capable, Hollywood is capable, media is capable of anything, fabricating the most horrific, absurd nonsense. And you have one channel in particular, well, I should say, you have some people in particular. I'm not going to cause any issue or problem or beef, because you know what? When I was on the left, that's what it was all about. But I'm not like that anymore. I don't care, really, but other than to point out the absolute hypocrisy. There's one, I should say, group of people that had a racial discrimination lawsuit. And they've devoted one channel to just TikTok videos on, with one guy, like devoting the entire segment. Can you believe this racism? Can you believe this racism? Then you have the pundits who run the whole thing that devoted a channel to, can you believe this? Can you believe this racism? To the pundits are saying that Kanye West has lost his mind and that he's a horrendous person for even running and that he shouldn't run because he doesn't believe in this policy or that policy. So here's how liberals, the wonderful, beautiful white, allies of the left and social, justice, and oh my God, and they don't want racism, and they don't want bigotry, and Trump is a horrible monster. Trump is a bigoted, prejudiced, racist monster. They go after Kanye West in the most vile, disgusting, just because they don't like his policies. Yeah, right. But they go after Kanye West, and I'm speaking in roundabout terms because I don't want, I don't like their behavior, their actions are going to speak for themselves. The people on the left, and I'm referring to. The hypocrisy is unbelievable. But they go after Kanye West. And then they touch themselves in ecstasy, talking about the wonderful liberals who will vote for Clinton when she becomes nominee, because Biden, that's not, and who are pushing Biden, and who scream Medicare for all. But think about this: they're hiding behind videos of like old people, and oh my God, did you see this Karen? Ma? And then when Kanye West runs, a billionaire black man who is opposed to the Democratic Party, running as an independent, friends with President Trump, they're descending upon him on Twitter and social media. I don't have Twitter. I don't have Facebook. I have my YouTube channels, of course. This, H.A. Goodman, and H.A. Goodman's other channel. But just the hypocrisy is unbelievable. I told you, though, Kanye West attracts a crowd in North Charleston in bid to make it on SC ballot for president. He's in front of an American flag. With an American flag as a backdrop, Kanye West took the stage in North Charleston wearing body armor. He used no mic, the standard tool of the trade for famous rappers, signaling to the young crowd that he was there for a conversation. West attracted hundreds Sunday afternoon as he makes the 11th hour push to get thousands of signatures to appear on South Carolina's ballot for president. The audience cheered the star and raised their phones to video and photograph him as he appeared on stage for the campaign's first rally in the nation. He began his rally officially. But I'm letting you know, all of the wonderful pundits who touch themselves in ecstasy when they can video some bizarre altercation in society where they say, oh, pure racism. They're going up and they're trying to silence a black man only because only because he's stating something politically that they don't agree with, which would be helping Trump get the popular vote because he's friends with President Trump, or some other issues too, whether it's vaccines or whatever. Under their code, or under the maxim or edict or code or laws of morality that they live by, when President Trump says something about AOC, it's to all people of color, women of color. It's to everyone. When he's speaking to certain progressive politicians, he's speaking to all people of the same background of those progressive politicians, even if he's disagreeing with them in policy. Oh, but the pundits now going at the liberal pundits with the usual hashtags that they're so proud of, that they've turned into just a hashtag. The liberal pundits now are going up against Kanye West and insulting him and mocking him and demeaning him, while at the same time making loads of money from touching themselves in ecstasy on video because they pointed out a racist event that took place in a corner of the country that nobody knows about, or, a fleeting moment where they can say, do you see this? And then the comment sections, yeah, did you see? Oh my God. Oh, look at the Karen. Oh, and they're touching themselves in ecstasy. Oh my God. Because it's not about left is not about combating racism. It's about making themselves feel really, 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 really good that they're so much more enlightened. That's what it's about. It's not about redemption. It's not about teaching somebody. That's what on H.A. Goodman's other channel, check that out. I have a great segment on Nick Cannon. I would have wanted somebody to just speak to Nick Cannon, to talk about the anti-Semitic things he said, to say that, look, they're not true. I wouldn't want him to be completely, fired and all that stuff, because I don't believe in all that stuff. But the left does, and they're the same people who write racist blog posts, and they're the same people who ask for forgiveness when they're caught with those racist or homophobic blog posts. They're at MSNBC. They're your favorite pundits on the left with the Medicare for All people, and they're the ones going after Kanye West because he's going to take the popular vote away from Hillary Clinton. It's going to be Clinton. It ain't going to be Biden. But just you watch. Go ahead and pay attention. Go ahead and pay attention to the people who make a lot of money calling out racism, and watch how those people demean, insult, disparage, attack verbally, besmirch. Besmirch Kanye West. Look what they do. And by their own definition, by their own rules, he is a black man. He is a voice of color. He is, he's a voice. His voice should be elevated according to the left. What happened? Oh, that's right. He doesn't suit you. He doesn't help you in any way, Democrats. So descend upon him and try to hurt him, and try to, God forbid, with public relations, from a public relations sense. So you're going to spend the next 3 months trying to tear down a billionaire and a black man and a person of color who is running for president, just because it's going to help Trump. Because, of course, the laws of nature, the Newtonian physics, leads to, oh, well, you know what, Trump is bad. They are done. The Democrats are done. And they don't even realize how, how duplicitous they sound. But if you look He's okay. West bounced from topic to topic. How social media brainwashes people. I agree. The dangers of addictions to opioids. Yes. His anger against the lack of diversity on corporate boards. I agree with that. He said he'd walk away from Adidas and other companies if they didn't improve. Okay. Prompted by a call from the audience, he talked about his anti-abortion policy. West cried. So he has policies. He stipulated that he wouldn't make it illegal. Okay. There you go. So that's a conservative viewpoint. So he has policies and viewpoints that resonate with the left and that resonate with the right. He's the Democratic Party's worst nightmare. The worst nightmare. His worst nightmare. Their worst nightmare. What are they going to do? You watch. I told you they were going to take him seriously because nobody's taking Kanye West seriously. I have been for weeks. And I said, I'm telling you, he could become president if he crafts a message to the Republican Party and also to independent, more liberal voters. He can become president. He would demolish and obliterate and steamroll John Kasich, Mitt Romney. You think Mitt Romney could stand a chance against Kanye West on that stage if Kanye West actually had a platform that he could communicate to Republican voters and say, look, you know what? Maybe I'm not 100% Republican, which is what Trump essentially stated, but you know what? I'm going to go ahead and push for these policies to help spur economic growth, but I'm not going to send Americans off to needless, never-ending, futile counterinsurgency conflicts. President Trump is the first president to bring home, the only president we've had in 20 years, who has reversed U.S. foreign policy to bring home Americans. Bring home Americans from never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts. Signed a deal to get us out of Afghanistan. Clinton would have gotten us there, more Americans there forever. And that's more important than climate change. Infinitely more important. Because there is no timetable you could say, well, the world's going to end, and if we don't do this, then it's all conjecture and hyperbole and paranoia. Well, it's important, but the rhetoric is hysterical and fanatical. If we do not bring home our American soldiers immediately, we will stay there forever, which is detrimental in terms of national security, immediately detrimental. Keeps them there forever away from their families, their sons, their daughters, their husbands, their wives, their fathers, their mothers, their family members. I mean, and that alone is the immediate moral and national security concern we have. We have to end perpetual war because it affects militarized police, doesn't it? And so that is an immediate pressing issue we need to face, which President Trump has faced, which Democrats don't care. They retweet the Lincoln Project. They're all the former Bush era Republicans, so who ran on a marriage amendment, and they're writing for liberal publications. Look, the hypocrisy and the duplicity is unbelievable. But again, the average Democrat is not schooled enough in just recent history, like I'm talking the past 10 years, 15 years, to even realize what's duplicitous, what's disingenuous, what's hypocritical. They don't care. They're like, oh, look what happened. Look at that video. Ooh, I feel so good about myself. Oh, she's not wearing a mask. Oh. That's all they care about. And then if it's Kanye West, again, if it's Trump, Kanye West, they rewrite the matrix, the code, the computer program. The machinery is now all just, what they've done is ensured that Democrats now, what do? They lose the popular vote to Kanye West. Are they going to call him Putin? What they don't have James Clapper to pretend that Russia wanted Trump. So did Russia want Kanye West? Because they're not going to get the popular vote with Kanye West. Does anyone understand this? If they don't get the popular vote and they lose the Electoral College, which they will, because Hillary Clinton is going to lose again to Trump, it's not going to be Biden. Biden, without Kanye West, would lose the popular vote and the Electoral College. And they've convinced themselves because of polls that where Democrats are overrepresented, that his response to the pandemic, his response to protests, well, President Trump's responses have nothing to do with 5 Democratic-run states accounting for over half of the lives lost. Nobody brings this up. This is according to the New York Times. If this were the case with red states, they would have made it a red state issue, and it would have been every day on CNN. 5, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, Kansas, Nebraska. They would have made it a red state issue for the past 3 months. They don't bring up the states where this is the worst tragedy in, okay? The reason that they can't foment the dislike of Trump pertaining to the pandemic is because, no matter what the polls say, is because people in Wyoming have a different experience than people in New York. Most people in California, even liberal California, have a different experience than people in New Jersey. Okay, look at the aggregate total of lives lost. People in Texas, people in Florida, people in Ohio. In Ohio have a different, just from states right next to them within the Midwest. So people in Ohio don't have the issues that New York and New Jersey have. Not even close. Look at the aggregate numbers. That's why in the election, when Trump wins swing states, they're going to say, oh my God, but his response to the pandemic. Because not every state had the same experience as New York and New Jersey and Michigan and Illinois and Pennsylvania. So, and Michigan and Pennsylvania had nothing in terms of, well, if you add 5 states, New York, New Jersey, Illinois, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, that's over half of the cases and over half of the lives lost. But even Michigan and Pennsylvania is a huge drop-off between New York and New Jersey and then Michigan and Pennsylvania. So states and citizens within those states have had different experiences with the pandemic in terms of the severity and the tragedy and the lives lost and the cases. So Democrats are like, they've convinced themselves that Trump is the problem when it's the governors who hold the greatest responsibility and the mayors, to ensure the safety of their citizens. Trump's not going to tell the New York political machine, Democratic Tammany Hall political machine, what to do. And then now they're sorry. Oh, Trump, he doesn't have he's disowned leadership or whatever, disavowed leadership, or he just he's nowhere to be found. The leadership they don't want Trump's leadership. They would never have listened to him anyway. Now you have CNN saying, oh yeah, I guess that the remedy he was talking about kind of works. So they have convinced themselves that Trump is a monster. But now they're going to have to create another monster. But this monster is a billionaire black man who is going to say to the Democratic Party, if you try to touch me or hurt me or do what you did to Trump, I'll destroy you and ruin you. And he has the ability, Kanye West, to do that in every single way, shape, and form. Trump did not. Kanye was far more powerful than Trump in terms of the core. In terms of how to completely ruin the Democratic Party, if they try to mess with him, he'll retaliate, and I'm being vague, but I don't think they're smart enough to realize they can't, with Kanye West. But it's going to be very interesting when they try to disparage him and demean him and create stories about him, how he retaliates. And you know what's going to happen too? Like, Kanye West, he tweets symbols and pictures and stuff, and then it gets retweeted 100,000 times. So that's going to even mess up the Matrix even more, because they're really not going to know what to think. But the symbols and and then the campaign rallies, they're going to be effective. And they think that, Democrats think, look, all we have to do is wait. We can switch from Biden to Clinton. It's only 3 months. And then it'll be a referendum, okay? We wipe our hands with it. You choose. You want the orange monster for 4 years? I mean, we've told you he's horrendous. Or Clinton. But they don't realize that that's just enough time, 3 months, for Kanye West to be on the ballot in New York and California and a whole bunch of other places. And they'll write him in places that he's not. So let's say, heaven forbid, he doesn't get into California. They'll write him in. If he says, hey, write me in, millions of people of all backgrounds, Democrats will write him in. And then you'll have the same pundits that make a living off of calling out racism, trying to disparage Kanye West. Democrats are done, and their true natures are coming out. It's not diversity, it's uniformity of thought. They don't want diversity of thought. So anyway, give me your thoughts below. Kanye West is obviously not going to win this year. He's obviously doing it because he's friends with President Trump. And he's obviously doing it because he wants to see how many votes he can take. And he doesn't care if it helps Trump because he likes Trump. He'd rather have Trump in office. Kanye West would rather have President Trump in office. Okay? Racist Democrats. And that's why he's doing it. But when he takes the popular vote away and Trump takes the Electoral College vote, and Trump wins the Electoral College and popular vote, say hello to the Durham probe for 3 years or 4 years or other investigations. Give me your thoughts below. And most importantly, a reversal of U.S. foreign policy and a whole bunch of other things. Hopefully, the true beginning of peace between North and South Korea. A whole lot of amazing things. If the media ever looked at President Trump from the vantage point of, okay, let's just be objective, the absurd poll ratings or approval ratings would skyrocket. There are more people who like Trump than dislike Trump in this country, or at least there are more people who have a decent opinion of Trump, or not as horrendous of an opinion as Democrats, than fanatical, rabid, frothing at the mouth, hysterical, apoplectic Democrats that literally they can't even have like love lives in their like there are couples who don't even have love lives anymore because of Trump, and there are articles about that. I mean, they've lost it. You understand? They've lost it. But anyway, give me your thoughts below. Love life ain't gonna get better on November 4th. I'll tell you that. Subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel right now. I have a new segment today. And if you want to support my voice long term, my Patreon is below. People, it's happening. It's happening. And I told you, I said he's going to be a huge factor, and he's becoming a huge factor. He'll give President Trump the popular vote and the Electoral College. Thank you.